Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes. It's 8:45. It is the 15th of February, the day after Valentine's Day. Hope you guys had a great Dessier day yesterday. Lovebirds out there. Hope you had a fantastic day on the 14th. But otherwise, we are here, obviously, for one reason and one reason only, and that's to talk football and fantasy Premier League FPL. As always, thanks for joining me this morning. If you're watching live, hi to you guys. If you're not, check it out on YouTube, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the content because we're doing everything game week 24, but more importantly, game week 25, which is this game week, and it started yesterday. So without any further ado, let me get you guys seeing what I can see. As always, here we go. Take a look at that. So, last game week, which ended, didn't it, with that Merseyside derby, a midweek game where we had the 7-0 victory for Nottingham Forest. Fantastic game. It was the 2-0 win for Liverpool in their first match of the two games. Everton won their game 4-0. Southampton beat Ipswich 2-1. Newcastle lost to Fulham, didn't they? 2-1. Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Aston Villa. Spurs beat Brentford on the Sunday. Crystal Palace beat United on the Sunday, and Arsenal destroyed Manchester City on the Sunday. Then we had Chelsea beating West Ham on the Monday, and then we had that Merseyside derby, that really eventful Merseyside derby. I watched that. It was a fantastic game, wasn't it, really? Everton scoring literally with the last kick of the match, Tarkowski, and all kinds of scenes going on at Goodison Park. It was a 2-2 draw in the end. That game week was the biggest game week I have had so far, I believe, in terms of points scored. There it is. I hit 142. How many did you guys get? Let me know, obviously, in the comments, and we'll have a look at that. But yes, 142 was my final score. Raya Kanate scoring well. Nico Williams doing well. Mikalenko did well over the two games, I suppose, with 7. Palmer, Martinelli out injured, isn't he, for a month or so. That was a big hit for me. Salah, obviously, for those that triple captain. Well done, you got some good points. Jacob Murphy did well for me. Weiss didn't, oddly enough. Wood did, and Isak didn't. Assistant manager-wise, 15 for slot. But the plan and the strategy would always slot until the end, really, in terms of the 3 game weeks that he gets. That's 2 doubles and a single game week. Now, I know Mr. Hindsight would have said either A, you should have triple captained Mo Salah, you would have got more points, or B, you should have assistant managed David Moyes and brought in someone else. That was never really the intention. The intention for myself, and I don't know about you guys out there, was always to not get rid of this assistant managership, but to utilise it to its max, really. Why not? Why? If you've got an opportunity to have a manager who plays 5 games in the space of, a couple of game weeks, why wouldn't you? So that was always my thought process. That was always something I'm going to stick to, and it will continue. Liverpool have a double game week this week as well, don't they? And then they have a final single game week to finish off slots. Set. So there you go. That's why I've got him in the team. So 142, very happy with that. My rank shot up naturally as well. I went from something like nearly 3 million to 2-1. I plan to go even better than that towards the end of the season to try and push on and beat last season's overall points, more importantly, really, but rank as well if possible. I finished within the good sort of million, sort of neatly and nicely within that area as well. So 142 points. Let me know in the comments or in the chat how many points you got from game week 24. So we move on to game week 25, don't we? That is this week, and the first fixture was a Valentine's Day fixture, wasn't it? And it was in Brighton. There you go, lovely part of the world, Brighton. 3-0 victory for Brighton at home against Chelsea. Didn't see that one coming, if I'm honest with you. I expected Chelsea to at least score, maybe Brighton to win because they're the home team, 2-1, something like that. Maybe Cole Palmer to do something for Chelsea. He didn't. Instead, Brighton decided to destroy them, all but destroy them, didn't they, really? 3-0 victory. Minter got 2, Mitoma got a goal, Welbeck got 2 assists, and Verbruggen, the goalkeeper, getting in on the act with an assist there. Bonus points went to Minter, who got 3, Verbruggen got 2, and Mitoma got the 1. Really, really good performance that is from Brighton. And in terms of assistant manager, if you guys have got Herzer, you would have got a lovely set of 21 for that one. Wow. 0.1% yesterday when I checked had Fabian Hertzler as their manager. So, interesting. But otherwise, the fixtures are as follows for the rest of this game week. We have Leicester vs Arsenal. at the King Power. Arsenal away. We'll see how they do. Don't forget they've got Martinelli out now, haven't they? Pretty much for a month or so. They've lost Havertz, haven't they? That was a huge blow. That was, being an Arsenal fan myself personally. There you go, Arsenal fan. They lost Havertz for the season. Gabriel Jesus is already out for the season as well. Saka's not back till next month, although he did do a bit of light training in Dubai. Arsenal's attack is, close to non-existent, isn't it, really? Villa at home against Ipswich. I think Villa will do well in that game. I think they'll win comfortably, probably a clean sheet in that one. So if you've got Emery as a manager, because there's lots of talk about who to do this week in terms of manager, it's a bit late now to think about that because the deadline was yesterday, wasn't it? But Aston Villa take on Ipswich at 3 o'clock at Villa Park. I can see a win, a good 2-0 win for Villa there. We'll see what happens with Marcus Rashford, because you'll see my team, I haven't done much really with it. Fulham versus Forest. I think Forest will beat Fulham probably 3-1, 2-1 in that game. Man at the moment, isn't it? Chris Wood, keep an eye on him. City Newcastle, I think that's going to be the game of this weekend. That may be the Spurs Man United game. But in terms of the game at 3 o'clock at the Etihad, I think that's going to be a really, really good match. I think you can see goals in that one. Possibly a 2-2, maybe a 2-1 straight win for City. But don't forget, they didn't do great against Real Madrid in midweek, did they? They buckled a little bit, and Real Madrid went on to win that game. Southampton versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth victory, isn't it? Yeah, I don't even know what I thought about that. Southampton have a tiny resurgence, but nothing enough to beat Bournemouth. And Areola's done really, really well, hasn't he? For Bournemouth, I could see a nice, comfortable win in the end for Bournemouth, maybe a 3-1, possibly even a clean sheet, 2-0, 1-0 for Bournemouth in that game. Semenyo, the man to watch in that one, I think. For the Man City Newcastle game, obviously Isak and maybe Haaland. Although I'm looking at Mamouche. I do want Mamouche to do something, but he didn't play in midweek, so I wonder. Crystal Palace, because that's West Ham versus Brentford. I think, West Ham might squeeze a win in this one. Firstly, Brentford are away from home. They're usually quite away from home. West Ham have got Bowen back as well, I think. So I think a victory for West Ham with this one. Bowen and Kudus involved, maybe in a 2-1 win. Hopefully, Wissa does something as well, because despite the fact this price is going up, Johan Wissa, he hasn't done a great deal for a few weeks. Crystal Palace versus Everton. Good fixture, actually. Good game, this one. Wouldn't normally be. Crystal Palace in really good form. Everton drawing against Liverpool. Confidence is there. Moyes has done really, really well. That resurgence has started to kick in, hasn't it, already? I can see a draw in this game. I can see a goals draw, because I think Mateta is doing really, really well. He's the man to watch for Crystal Palace. I can see him scoring, but I can also see Everton squeezing a goal in this game as well. Big blow, I think, if Ndiaye is out for a while as well for them. But Beto did okay, didn't he? He did okay. Maybe he might get a goal in this game. The midfield, they've got a lot of sort of box-to-box midfielders. Decore is one of them as well. So maybe a 1-1, perhaps just a scrape victory for Crystal Palace. Maybe a 1-0. Liverpool versus Wolves. Liverpool victory. Simple as that. Mo Salah is going to get a goal or two in this game. I can see it already. Hopefully a clean sheet, because obviously I've got Konate, and a lot of you guys have Trent or Robertson in your team as well. Maybe Virgil or the goalkeeper Alisson. So clean sheet potentially on the cards for Liverpool in this game. In terms of goals, probably a 2-0 maybe in this one. Spurs Man U, in my opinion, would have otherwise been the pick of the team, pick of the fixtures this game week 25. In terms of the actual goals and the points, I think we could see a 1-1 or a 2-2 in this one. Spurs are doing okay. Kulusevski's done quite well, and Son as well, so maybe they might be involved in getting the goal for Spurs. The only reason I'm saying they're going to score, firstly, it's Man United, secondly, they're at home, so there's a chance they might do okay in this game. So Kulusevski and Son to be involved. United-wise, there's a big reliance on Amad Diallo, but I'm hearing news that he might be out injured. He's got another day to recover, maybe sickness. So hopefully he starts and plays for United, because I think him and Bruno Fernandes are the sparks, aren't they, really, in that team? So maybe a 1-1 draw. I can't see lots of goals in this, although you watch, I'm going to get proof of it's going to be 3-3. Yes, so 1-1 I'm going to go with. Kulusevski and Son involved for Spurs, and Amad Diallo if he starts and plays, and Fernandes involved for United. And then we've got the double game week game, haven't we? Aston Villa versus Liverpool, their second fixture for both teams at Villa Park. Tricky one for Slot. Villa are a good side. They've got Rashford over there now as well. They've got Asensio in their team. Marlon joined them as well. Attacking wise, they're looking really, really, really good, aren't they? They've got Disasi also in their team as well for backup in defence. So they've got players. Can they win? No. Will they lose? Maybe. I think Liverpool are going to do well in this game. I think they're going to get something out of it. In terms of result, maybe 2-1 for Liverpool. The only thing that makes me sort of edgy about this is the fact that Everton technically drew, and I know it's a Merseyside derby, but Everton technically smashed in 2 goals against the Liverpool team that were fairly consistent. I know the last minute winner was a bit sort of, mad, really, wasn't it? Because of the whole, situation, the stadium, etc. that they played in, but still, Villa Park will be rocking in that game. I think 2-1 just. I think Liverpool might hold on. Mo Salah, the man, obviously, to watch in that game. And obviously, the previous game, he's always the man to watch. Aston Villa-wise, maybe Watkins. Maybe he's back, potentially from injury as well. So, my points and my team, I shall reveal to you wonderful people right now. Up we go. We have 2 points on the board already. In Cole Palmer, because he played yesterday, didn't he, against Brighton for Chelsea. In goal is David Raya. In defence is Konate, Nico Williams, and Mikolenko. I picked those 3 because they've got okay fixtures, in my opinion. Konate's got a double, Wolves and Villa, hasn't he, for Liverpool. Nico Williams has got a single fixture, but he did really well against the last team, so he got 12 in previous hits. So Nico Williams is the man to watch. Fulham and Mikolenko has Crystal Palace, doesn't he? So maybe Everton might do okay. Maybe they'll get a clean sheet, potentially a 0-0 draw. Palmer obviously played against Brighton yesterday, bit of a disappointment. I expected him to at least get an assist or be involved in some form. Mo Salah, obviously, I've got Wolves versus Aston Villa. He is the captain of the team naturally as well. I can't play any of the chips, don't forget, because I do have the assistant manager chip active. So triple captain, bench boost, whatever, no chance. It's literally assistant manager now for the next game week as well. So you could probably guess what next week's game week team is going to include. Yes, Arne Slot will be involved. There'll be no chips played. So Mo Salah has a double. He is captain naturally of Wolves against Aston Villa. Amad Diallo against Tottenham is playing. Jacob Murphy has Manchester City, so he will play only because Jacob Murphy's done quite well. He's gone under the radar a little bit, hasn't he, really? But have a look at his points again. Fulham did something. Southampton did something, and that's what I look for him on the field. Points, trying to get as many points as possible from the game itself. Wissa is obviously going to play. He's got West Ham away, hoping he does quite well. Wood flying at the moment, isn't he, for Nottingham Forest? So always in the team, away to Fulham. And Alexander Isak. Now, he's been a bit disappointing, hasn't he, last game? So I'm hoping for a resurgence, and I hear he does quite well against Manchester City. So he is away. Let's keep an eye on how he does. Arne Slot naturally will be also involved in this game week as well. He has Wolves and Aston Villa away. He isn't on the touchline. He's got a ban, I believe, as well. So against Wolves and Aston Villa, he will do his team talks, etc., and implementation of during the game from the stands. On the bench is Fabianski. I think he's lost his place for West Ham, which is a bit of a problem. Martinelli will be out very soon as well because he is injured for a month. Greaves has Aston Villa. First on my bench as well, in technically speaking, is Greaves because Martinelli's out injured, so Greaves will come in. And Colwell got a point yesterday, didn't he? He is also on my to-do list to potentially go. So that is the team this game week. I haven't made any transfers. I'm going to be openly honest and say I missed the deadline yesterday because of Valentine's Day. If I didn't miss the deadline, my change might well have been Wissa or a Gabriel Martinelli out for a Villa player. It would have been a very last-minute decision because who do you go for? Rashford? Is he going to play all the minutes? Is he going to get 60? Is he going to get more? Maybe, but I'm waiting for Rashford to sort of kick in. It's a bit of a punt this week. Watkins had an injury scared in the end whilst he was deemed okay to potentially play, and it is potentially play one or both of the fixtures for Villa. You really want him in the first game, and that's the problem. The first game itself, is he going to be fit? Is he not? Again, it's a risk. If he does, great, fantastic. If he doesn't, then he misses out on the fixture against Ipswich. Those people that are bringing in Aston Villa players are really bringing them in for the Ipswich game to a degree. I know Liverpool you can score against, but you're not going to hammer 8 goals against Liverpool and get loads of points. So, yeah, you're bringing them essentially in for the game today, and it's a very tight turnaround. And I think that maybe Emery might play him for a couple of minutes, Watkins, and then bring him off, and then, or maybe play him at the last few minutes of the game and then look more to add to the game against Liverpool in terms of the fixture. Same goes to Marcus Rashford. Maybe they'll unleash Rashford against Liverpool rather than against Ipswich, and Ipswich is the fixture really you want for the Villa players. So again, it's a punt. Rodgers would have been the man to go to. Alternatively, maybe I would have brought Rodgers in and played it safe this game week. Who knows in general? So in that sense, that is what I have got in terms of plans. The big plan, obviously, is to kick out Martinelli. Unfortunately, he's out injured. It's a big shame as well because he started to slowly get a not great form, but he was doing something, didn't he? He got an assist, then he got a goal in the last few game weeks, and you're thinking, okay, right then. And then Havertz is now out injured. So all eyes are very much on Leandro Trossard, aren't they? He will pretty much be a mainstay in the Arsenal team now till the end of the season. And then you're looking Martinelli when he's back next month, and Gabriel. No, over Gabriel. And then you're looking at Bukayo Saka, aren't you, really? And then so Martinelli when he's back, Gabriel Martinelli, and Saka when they're back playing either side, maybe with Trossard up front or Martinelli up front as a false nine, that kind of thing. So Martinelli eventually when he's back, Saka eventually when he's back, and then obviously Leandro Trossard, I think, will be the three players. That means Sterling and Nwaneri on the bench for the Arsenal. So in terms of what I'm going to do, Martinelli is probably going to be out. Trossard is very much, I've got someone saved and ready to go in my watch list. And I'm probably going to look at maybe moving on Jacob Murphy eventually. Otherwise, perhaps a change in defence in Colwell, because Colwell's going down and down in price. He's getting next to no points. So I'll have a look. Maybe a Crystal Palace player, I think, for that one. I will have a look at the fixture zone, see what Crystal Palace players' fixtures are like, and then determine whether it's Crystal Palace, because I'm now focused on game week 29. The reason being there is a blank game week to a degree. It is very much Liverpool and Newcastle assets are kind of out. Not out, but they're going to be benched. Jacob Murphy is a player I can do without, despite him doing quite well. So I will kick out Jacob Murphy, I think, in the coming weeks. And then I will bench Konate, Mo Salah and Isak because I've got money tied up in those three. And they're not worth getting rid of to then spend more to bring them back again. So I won't be doing that. So Salah, Konate and Isak will be the benched players. My assistant manager chip will have disappeared by then as well. So out will go Arne Slot. And then the rest of the team I'll work around. So Martinelli out for Trossard, potentially Colwell maybe as a luxury transfer, out for another defender, perhaps in Crystal Palace. But Colwell's transfer isn't as critical for me at this second because he technically has a fixture in 29. So as long as it doesn't start to be borderline dropping in price, I might keep Colwell. Martinelli is 100% my priority, and then I can work the rest of the team Martinelli and then eventually Jacob Murphy out. So in case you wanted to know, that was my plan. I will confirm that closer towards game week 29. Let's have a quick look at price changes for today or last night, should we say. Rodgers has gone up to 5.7. Kind of makes sense with his double game week. Kluivert has gone up as well to 6 because of his form, and Huijsen's gone up to 4.5 again because he plays for Bournemouth. That's why Gabriel Jesus has dropped to 6.5. Sola has dropped to 3.9. He's a defender at Bournemouth. Carvalho's dropped to 4.5. Navidi's dropped to 5. Savino's dropped to 6.2. Amad Diallo has dropped to 5.5. So all eyes on Amad Diallo. Hall has dropped to 5 and Son has dropped to 9.7. Predictions for tonight in terms of what's going to happen. Gakpo is going to maybe go up, but he is borderline injured right this second. Sanchez is going to go down as he lost his place at Chelsea. Isak's going to go down. Watkins is apparently going to go up, but I'm not sure. Again, there's people being a bit edgy about transferring him in because of his borderline injury. Risa is going to go up, and Ashley Young is going down. So in case you guys wanted to know, that is what is going on at the moment in time. I'll get up this window as well. So what do you think, guys? I mean, there's a lot to see there and a lot to sort of take in, isn't there, really, in terms of what's happening. This game week's a bit of an odd one, really, because there's only one double fixture, a bit like last game week. Everyone is jumping on the Villa and Liverpool bandwagon. Rightly so, if you guys have done that. Let me know who you've brought in. Obviously, from the Villa side of things, it'd be interesting to know what you've done. Have you got an assistant manager? Are you playing with the Emery slot? You know, have you still got David Moyes? Probably not. You're probably going to get rid of him now. You've maxed out the points you can get for the previous double game week, so well done you if you brought in David Moyes. Still well done for bringing in Arne Slot if you've got him, because don't forget, you've got him for another couple of game weeks. The clever way, to be honest, looking at hindsight, if we're going to do that a little bit, the clever way to have done it would have been Moyes for the first 2 game last week for the last game weeks. This week, you then transfer Moyes out. You bring in maybe Arne Slot or Emery, perhaps Emery being the better choice for those 2 games against Ipswich and Liverpool. And then the next game week, you look at the fixture and you maybe kick out whoever you've got and look at the best fixture, really. So who's got Southampton and who's got Ipswich, potentially, although Ipswich are doing okay. So who's got Southampton, you may well go for. Chelsea, would you bring in Maresca for that game? Maybe, although it's Chelsea, isn't it, really? Anything could happen in that game. Perhaps, well, it's a bit of a tricky game week, actually. Maybe you go with would you go for Amorim? Who knows? But anyway, you can see what I'm trying to get at, really. Perhaps the game week 27 is a bit tricky to sort of look at the assistant manager who you pick, because it's a bit of an odd fixture week. But so you would have got David Moyes last game week for the double game week, maxed out the points there. Emery, you maxed out the points this game week as well. And you see how you go, really, in that sense, for the final game week 26, really. So, yes, there you go. We've already had a fixture. We had a Valentine's Day fixture yesterday. Happy Valentine's Day. Belated, but there you go to all you guys for yesterday. I appreciate you guys watching and checking it out, and views and all your feedbacks and comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to my socials. I'm on Facebook, AJP85-channel. I'm on X, A_J, A_J_P_8_5. Same goes for Twitch, and I'm also on YouTube, which is where this video goes at the end, which is AJ Hardy 85. Check it out. Like, subscribe, and follow, people. We can be special friends. We can. Don't forget to leave your comments. Obviously, chats as well if you want to ask any questions as well as we come towards the end of this live stream. Don't forget, I'm also unedited and unscripted. I don't mess about with stuff like that. We're literally here in a conservatory, headset, mouse, and a computer. That's all you need, isn't it, really, to play fantasy? You have to have this fantasy gaming dungeon or whatever it is with all these great chairs and microphones and everything hanging about. Don't need that kind of stuff. No, we get rid of that, brush it right back. We go right back to rawness, and we go for it in that sense as well. So that's my game week team, really. Ready to go. As you can see, I'm not particularly happy about Martinez's injury. I'm actually not particularly happy about Havertz's injury, if I'm honest, as well, because one of my options was maybe to go Havertz up front, and then that's my Arsenal coverage to a degree, but now I'm going to have to worry about that. What I'm personally holding out for, though, is Bukayo Saka's return, if I'm honest with you. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking Saka might come back a little bit early. It depends on how Arteta wants to sort of push him in terms of fitness. Now that we've lost Havertz and Martinez out injured, you might find that Saka's step up to fitness might be a bit sooner than we expect, and that's why Trossard is a clever sort of transfer in that sense, a temporary transfer, and then you can get him out, because I think Trossard will increase in price. I am looking at Manchester City as well. A lot of people are saying, is it time to bring back Haaland? Maybe, but to get Haaland into this team would require a little bit of surgery. Maybe surgery I'm not quite willing to do on it really yet. I'm happy to get rid of some players, maybe like a Colwell can go out, maybe Mikolenko at some point can go out. My Arsenal asset, do I keep Trossard? Probably. Then Jacob Murphy will potentially go out as well, which would leave me with a couple of pennies to look at Visa. And Visa is the man, despite his good fixture coming up. Visa is the sort of man to kick out, because I'm not getting rid of Isak because he's done quite well. I'm not really getting Wood. Get rid of Wood. I'm not getting Wood. Happy Valentine's Day. You're belated. But no, Wood and Isak are good players in that sense, and they can turn a game, and you do not get rid of players like that. Salah and Palmer. Palmer's an interesting one, isn't he, really? He's dropping a little bit, but he's just the kind of player that all it takes is one game, and he's got top-end points, hasn't he, really? Konate I will keep unless he gets injured. Konate, Nico Williams I'll keep, and Greaves for now because of his price. Those three. Raya probably because of his Arsenal coverage and the clean sheet option. Save points as well, potentially. So Amad Diallo is another one, maybe, but you're looking at a really cheap enabler then. So we'll see. I think I'm pretty much looking at maybe Mamouche. If he keeps playing games, he's had 70 minutes twice. He's looked quite lively in the games. If he can start getting some returns, maybe Mamouche is the man to go to for coverage for Man City. We will see. But as you can see, there you go. That's my sort of squad, should we say. This currently right this second is my team for this game week. Let me know what you think of that. Not too bad. Could I have brought in a Villa player? Should I have brought in a Villa player? I did have a free transfer available. Missed the deadline, but would I have done it anyway? Maybe. Yeah, Martinelli probably would have been the man to go out, but who would I have brought in? That's the problem. Would have probably played it safe in Rodgers. but maybe a Rashford would have been a good little punt. Maybe taking a risk on Watkins's fitness and putting him in for Risa. Maybe. These are all hindsight, but I'm not going to play hindsight. That is the team for this game week, plus Arne Slot. He has 2 games against Wolves and Aston Villa, double fixture game week. Let's see how we go, shall we? I did actually have a message. It was a direct message, which I'll just really quickly mention as well. And someone was asking me whether they should go with Emery or Arne Slot this game week. Honestly, if I wanted to and I was playing around and I felt like using a transfer, I would probably go with Emery just because of the upside. First and foremost, they've got Ipswich in their first game, haven't they? And in the second game, they've got Liverpool, which, they're not a million miles away in the table, but you might find it's a bit better in that sense. They are the home side as well. Doesn't mean to say that they're going to get massive points. I think, yes, he'll get good points, Emery, against Ipswich, probably even a clean sheet. Will Arne Slot also get the clean sheet? They've got a game against Wolves. I think possibly yes. So you're looking at a clean sheet for both of the teams. So it wouldn't really matter too much about that side of things. It's the game against each other at Villa Park that you're sort of looking at and thinking, can they? And I think that Emery will get maybe a draw in that game or a scrape victory for Slot. I'm hoping for a scrape victory, naturally, because I've got Slot as my manager. But, it's not a bad shout going for Emery. He's cheaper as well, slightly, and he's at home for that game. So maybe, just maybe, Emery is an okay option, really. It's too late to tell you what to do or to give you any advice. Not that I'm going to do that anyway. I won't tell you what to do. I'll just give you some advice in that sense and my thought process. But I guess Emery would be a slightly more riskier, cheaper, but perhaps a better punt than Arne Slot. However, call me tunnel vision, call me rigid, which I'm not, but I always plan to do Arne Slot for this big 3 game weeks, double last week, double this week, and a single next week. So just to answer that question to you, Dan, the simple fact is I would probably, if you did decide to do it, have gone Emery maybe for this game week if I was in your shoes and I wanted to spend a bit less. And a lot of people also, don't forget, and maybe you fall into this bracket, already had 3 Liverpool players for this set of game weeks as well. So if you did, you couldn't even bring in Arne Slot. I don't know if that was the case for you, didn't mention. But if you did have 3 Liverpool players, the logic is you couldn't have got Slot anyway. Emery was the way to go, wasn't he, really? First it was Moyes, then it would have been Emery. So there you go. Hopefully you got some good points. I got 140 plus, so I'm happy with that. Really happy with last week, game week's one. I don't think I'll get 142 this game week, but it'd be lovely if I get top ends of 100. That'd be really, really nice. The problem with that, though, is it does make me think maybe I should have gone triple captain on Salah for those 2 game weeks, or one of the 2 game weeks, but I don't think he's going to hammer in that many against Villa and Wolves. Maybe he will. Who knows? We'll see. He's been superb. He's been sensational. I expect him probably to get a goal in both of those games. So, yeah, if you triple captain in this week, you might get something out of it. I'm holding my triple captain for later on in the season. There's a couple of game weeks left to me to play that. I'm holding out my free hit as well, probably for a really big blank game week still to come. I'm holding out my bench booth because my bench isn't looking that great. And even if it was, there's a better time to play it. And more importantly, I have a second wild card still to play. Again, I'm going to attack the fixtures towards the midpoint of our second half of the season, when the team needs major surgery, because despite the fact that it's a little bit, could be better, it's not terrible right this second. That can't be fixed with a couple of free transfers. And obviously with a blank game week coming up with Liverpool and Newcastle blanking on 29, that is the priority right this second. And afterwards we can get fancy and have a little look further ahead to the fixtures. 34, game week 34, 35 looks good, even game weeks prior to that point as well. So note to self, nothing to do right this second other than free transfers. Get out Martinelli, have a look at Jacob Murphy in the next few game weeks to kick him out. And then otherwise, we'll see how we go into the next few game weeks. But otherwise, ladies and gents, as always, boys and girls, thank you so much for watching. I've been AJ. This has been FPL Talk, part 37. Join me again next Saturday at 8:45. And we will look at game week 26 in a little bit more detail. But otherwise, hope you had a great Valentine's Day yesterday. Hope you're going to have a great weekend. And I'll see you sensational people on Saturday at 8:45. Don't miss out. Let your friends, family, and strangers know I'm doing fantasy talk and I'm trying to get good at it. So there we go. Take it easy. I'll see you fantastic people on Saturday